Welcome to the Contractor's Secret Weapon radio podcast, the show dedicated to helping contractors, remodelers, painters, roofers, and others in the construction industry gain an unfair advantage over their competition. Get ready for some inspiration, some encouragement, some proven business building strategies, and a couple of new ideas that can take your business to the next level and beyond. And now, broadcasting from the Contractor's Secret Weapon Studios in Southern Florida, Dave Negri.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another great episode of the Contractor's Secret Weapon Podcast. This is the show where the more you listen, the bigger the competitive advantage you will have over your competition. And hey, who doesn't want that? My name is Dave Negri, and I am the Contractor's Secret Weapon. I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've created this show to share some marketing and business building strategies and some of the countless lessons that I've learned over the past 30 years creating and building multiple businesses. I have a great show to share with you today, but before we get into the conversation, I want to do a shout out to our sponsors and highlight just some of the things that they offer that can help you in your business today.
Running a small business is no easy task, and I should know because I had a service company for almost 10 years. I am the founder of a software called Radius Bomb, and it's unbelievable. And for all the listeners of Contractor's Secret Weapon, we have a special offer for you to check out. If you want to send hyper-targeted, laser-focused, super personalized postcards to your exact prospects using a map while sitting in your underwear, then go to contractorsecretweapon.com/Radius Bomb, and we'll give you your first 100 postcards for free. Just go to contractorsecretweapon.com/Radius Bomb.
Hey, is your phone ringing enough? Do you want it to ring more with highly motivated and qualified buyers that contact you, the contractor, directly? No more waiting for the phone to ring. Just answer that phone. Best Home Services leads are dedicated to making your phone ring with motivated buyers that call you directly. There's no obligation to talk with them. Just go to contractorsecretweapon.com/money. Fill out the form to secure your discount on the setup fee. Do it today. This special will not last forever. Check them out at contractorsecretweapon.com/money.
Hey, this is Dave Negri with Contractor's Secret Weapon. I am excited to be here today. I have Jeffrey Davidson with us, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So his the thing that got me on his bio and when we were talking was it says grab onto the handrails because Jeffrey is engaging, thought-provoking, and sometimes gets you so excited you think you forgot to pee. I had him there. So Jeffrey's been exploring the boundaries of world-class teams for over 20 years, and as a recognized expert in strengthening leaders and building teams, he has worked with hundreds of teams and taught thousands of employees and consulted with multiple Fortune 100 corporations. He's a dynamic presenter. He speaks at conferences across the United States and Canada, and audiences love his interactive, high-energy talk because they include humor, real-life stories, and success on many brushes with failure. That's the best way to learn. So, Jeffrey, I'm excited to have you here today.
I got to tell you, I'm so excited to be here with you today, Dave, talking to you and your audience, because you are the people that are out there doing real work. You know, you're not some committee in some big company. You're real people doing a real job, making a real difference. And I love to talk to folks.
Cool. And you really like to talk about leading great teams and leadership, don't you?
I do. Well, I love to talk. But what I'm passionate about, what I feel, it took me a long time to figure out why am I here?
Okay.
And I finally figured out, and I just love teamwork. I love being on a good team. I love seeing a leader lead a team. I love seeing a team work together. That feeds something in me, something down deep.
Yeah.
And I was a president of a company at 35, way young, $1 million sales company. And we failed atrociously. I didn't know what I was doing. So seeing it done right, it's like, it's like a bit of nirvana for me.
Yeah.
Something I was missing and looking for, and I love it.
Wow, that's awesome. So, and I'm sure that you see, and I think teamwork as I think about it, and I've seen great teams, and I've been a part of bad teams, and I think we all have. But taking professional, I love your word, to taking your professional teams from there to amazeballs. That's a great topic. You need to write a book about that?
I've got an outline for it.
Okay,
but
great.
I discovered I love working with people.
Yeah.
But I don't love writing.
Okay.
So maybe one day.
Well, you know what? Here's an option is on all the podcasts you're going to do, talk about this one subject and just overlap a little stuff and then transcribe it. And now you got your book. You don't have to write anything.
Okay. Well, as long as I'm helping real people, the book is an afterthought.
Right. Gotcha. So the myth, that's kind of funny. But what is the myth?
So I view mech as a bad version of blasé. I view it as like people are showing up, but they're not showing up.
Okay.
They're here, but they're not actually present. They're looking for the paycheck, but they're not, saying, let's make this a great place, or let's give great service, or let's make sure that next client is overjoyed. And here's the thing that I figured out. I'm going to jump right into some deep stuff here for you.
Sure.
Is that when you have people who are acting that way, it's actually, and this is kind of esoteric, they're usually acting out the system. In other words, how we do things, how we set things up, how we organize, how we talk about our work, how we share things leads people to act that way. The average kid you see in a playground doesn't act that way. They're not meh. They're like, this is the best slide ever. Or, let's teeter top to the top. Or is that even a phrase? I think I made it up.
Okay.
Or let's get the swing to go all the way around the bar.
Yeah.
There's an innate joy in all of us, but if we're in a bad environment, we're just like, whatever. Sure, I'll go do that, boss. Or we grumble, which is even worse. We're just way too disengaged. And the employees, our staffs, our contractors, the people out doing the work, our professionals, don't feel like they have the power to change it. It's the boss who has the power to change it.
Okay, that's very intriguing. So how, as bosses, we have employees that are disengaged. Why? I think I know where you're going to go with this. So I'm going to say, why are they disengaged?
Well, I think employees, they have a bunch of questions that are in their head that they don't ask.
Okay.
And the first one as bosses, it's our job to answer those questions for them, whether they ask them out loud or not. And the first question people ask is, why am I showing up? If you don't give your people a reason to show up, if you're not saying we're here to help people in some way, if you're just having them show up for a paycheck, then they don't have any meaning that they're buying into. This is really about meaning. Why am I showing up is, what is the meaning of us as a group, of us as a team, as us as a company? Are we trying to make sure that, in the dead of winter, we're helping people make sure that their HVAC system, their furnace, or their boiler is keeping them warm and safe and cuddly? Are we making sure that they're cool and comfortable in the summer? Or we're just trying to milk them for money? What's the meaning?
That's an interesting concept, and it's an interesting thought, because as my mind, because I just have this one thing that I think about marketing a lot. So it's just like, that would be cool for someone that owns a HVAC company in the winter, and when it starts getting cold out, just to start randomly calling their customers saying, it's been kind of cold out. We just want to call and make sure that everything's working okay.
I got to tell you, if I were to get that call, I would call them back with every problem. Because they're just checking in to make sure I'm warm?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
So, and the thing is, not only do your customers feel that way, your staff feels that way. If your staff knows what's going on, because here's the thing is, if you've got someone in the office who makes that call, and then the staff, and they say, no, actually, we're kind of cold. Can you send someone out? When your guy shows up, when your gal shows up, the next day, the people are like, man, I love that call. You guys really care about us. And the staff now knows, I'm showing up. Why am I showing up? What's my meaning? I'm showing up to help these people feel comfortable. I'm making a difference in someone else's life. That is cool. So for me, giving meaning is the first job of a boss. It's the first job of the organization, is to make sure that we know what difference we make. It's not the only thing we got to do, but it's the first thing we got to do.
Wow, that is that's profound. So nobody thinks about it. They just think about, well, I'm going to work, I'm doing a job, but why am I doing it?
So that's just it. We think about why, and which leads me. I got this whole model, but it leads me to my second thing, which is what is clarity? In other words, if I'm showing up and I'm like, oh, cool. I make sure I know I know that I make a difference for people because I keep them warm in winter and, nice and cool in summer. But more than that, or after that, like, what do I know what success looks like? How do I know I'm doing the right stuff? And that's, to me, the second job of the boss, which is to provide clarity for people.
Yeah.
Making sure that we can go out there and we've defined, if you go see 5 people a day, that's good because that means you've touched 5 lives. That's clarity. But maybe it's that you sold 5 furnaces.
Right.
Maybe it's that you've fixed 2 phone calls. Maybe it's you've done, hair for 20 different people. But that's different than, as long as you're out there doing something. That, attitude leads to a meh team.
I love that word.
I know. And I got to tell you, I've been on some meh teams.
Yeah.
They suck. That's another word for meh.
Meh sucks, yeah.
Am I allowed to say that? Because they suck.
That's fine, yeah. Tell like it is. Tell us how you really feel. No.
Seriously, I want to work with some amazeballs people who are excited about coming to work.
Yeah. Okay, so you want that. I want that. Everyone wants that. How do we get that?
Well, first is meaning, second is clarity. The third thing for me is structure, which is knowing how we get things done, which is making sure that we have tools and making sure we know how to use tools. In other words, it does no good if I buy a left-handed smoke bender, but I don't tell you how to install it.
Right.
So we've got to figure out what are all the right tools. How do we simplify the tools? How do we train on the tools? How do we make sure they're available when we need them? Should we be, experimenting with new tools or inventing our own? This gets to process and structure and environment. It's the stuff around and in which we work. Do we have the right building for us and what we're doing? Do we have the right trucks? Do we have the right radios, etc.? Do we have the right systems for notifying people on call? It's all those things. We need to have that stuff because if that structure, those structural things are in the way, it's really hard to succeed.
Right, because you don't know where you're going.
You don't know where you're going. Or I know where I'm supposed to go. I know how I'm trying to make a difference for my clients, but my structure's in the way. And I got to tell you, the people you got working out there trying to make a difference, working hourly or maybe a salary, they're not focused on the same stuff. They can't work on that. That takes the boss to get involved to make sure the structure's right and the support is there to master those things.
Well, yeah, and it's interesting that you say that it takes the boss because for the most part, and I've noticed through the different places I've worked at and the different businesses that I've owned is that a certain person, let's say that you have, let's say that I have a painter. He only sees today. You know, he only sees a certain thing, where his supervisor sees tomorrow, next day, the next week, where things needs to be, and then the boss sees 5 weeks out, 6 months out. So it's so everyone needs to see the picture, but from a different station, I think. Would that be a good way to put it?
Yes, you're right. In fact, as you're saying that, I'm shaking my head, with a sad kind of expression on my face. Because, we've got this limited view, and we're all solving our own little fires. But so many of those fires don't have to be there in the first place if we fix some of the structure. Because the structure leads to more fires or less fires. So we can make things easier on the supervisor. The supervisor can make things easier, on the person thinking about today or this client. So we've got to spend some time there. It's got to be a focus too. And not everyone loves that stuff. And the truth is that what was good when you were a solo, shop, what was good when you were 3 people isn't the same when you got 12 folks, isn't the same when you got 50. You got to go through some changes there. And if you're just counting on that stuff fixing itself, it won't. In fact, if you grow faster than that is, you hurt yourself. You're going to slow down. You're going to implode at some point or run people out.
Yeah, then it'll be a continual, I like to call it a hamster wheel.
Exactly.
Yeah. So here's a question for you. So one of the things that, how does a busy manager turn their team into a standout crowd?
Yeah, if you want,
and I'm sure that it would probably take us 3 days to go through this.
It would take days, but briefly, it's we start with meaning and clarity. Mm-hmm. We work on structure. That's going to take some time. But then there's 2 things you got to do, and that is you got to figure out how to get people to work together, and mostly that's just encouraging them to work together. And if you see things that get in the way, call out and say, hey, that's not appropriate. If you've got a jokester on the team, but 80% of their jokes are picking on one guy, if, someone else is taking 60% of their time is making fun of one lady, that's not helping the team.
Right.
And that's not really funny. That's bullying. So we've got to figure out how to help the team work together. We've got to help those team dynamics. So that's a really key part for me, is helping individuals work together as a team. And the last thing is we have to have feedback. And I know feedback is scary. Just the word itself. You walk up to someone and say, try this. Walk up to your spouse and say, hey, can I give you some feedback on dinner tonight? And their face is going to go through 3 different emotions, and you might have to duck.
Yeah. Can I give you that's a scary That's a scary thought. Can I give you feedback?
It's a scary thought. But here's the thing. Without feedback, we don't change.
I understand that, but I do understand it implicitly, because when we used painting, I would always send out a survey, and it was more of a, how did we do? What did you expect? Did we, and I talked to other contractors about that, and they go, why do you do that? And I go, what? What do you mean, why do I do that?
Why? Because I don't want to suck.
Yeah, I said, yeah, right, yeah. I said, I want to be better tomorrow than I was today, and if I could change something to make it better, then I ultimately want to do it so that if we ever do business with that customer again, then they can experience the change, and then anybody new. And I'll go, why wouldn't you? I'd be afraid to find out what the answer is. And I go, are you crazy? Why are you even in business then?
Okay, so here's the thing. The word feedback, we associate all this bad stuff with it. And usually it's me bringing a hammer to your head, maybe just your toes. So how do we get around that? I studied this, and As humans, actually, every system likes to not change.
Yeah.
In biology, we call it homeostasis, which basically means the system don't like changing. That's true for plants, it's true for our bodies, it's true for us and our personalities and how we do work. So how do we get beyond that? And that answer is, instead of me saying, I want to give you some feedback, the way is to ask questions for yourself. Now, first, let's realize everyone, when they wake up, wants to do a good job. I don't know anyone who, when they wake up and they're getting ready, they look in the mirror in the morning and they say, I can't wait to go to work and sabotage something today. That's going to be great. Nobody says that.
Yeah, nobody even thinks that. You're
exactly.
Right.
If you've hired that psychopath, get rid of him. That's a different issue. But 99 out of 100, 9,999 out of 10,000 people don't think that way.
Right.
They think, I want to go do a good job today. I want to be told I'm doing a good job today. So first, we need to realize that people want to do a good job. But sometimes they don't know how. Sometimes they don't know where they're going wrong. So what I have taught teams to do is I teach them to ask each other and to ask their boss. And also for the boss to set the example. And the boss asks the question to their employees. And that is to say, hey, I tried to do good on this. Is there an area that I did well that I can build upon?
Mm-hmm. I like
In other
that.
words, where am I good that I can go to great?
Right.
So the first question is, let's acknowledge we're trying to do a good job. So where am I doing well that I can build upon? That's question one. The second is, where should I refocus? Because maybe it's not as effective as I want. Now, there's a couple things here. One, first, those two questions get 80, 90, 98% of what you need to grow. Second is that something in our heads, I don't know what, and I don't know why, and I don't understand it, but it works, so I just go with it. Is that if we ask the question, we are more likely to listen than if I just say, hey, I got something for you to build upon. I got something for you to refocus.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. Really from a standpoint of, if I ask the question, I'm giving you permission, so I'm open.
Yeah, it is. So I will literally tell people, here are two questions. I give them an index card. I have them draw a line down the middle. I put one question on the left, one question on the right, and I say, go ask these questions of a teammate this week. Just ask it to one person. And I make them do it every week. Go find someone new. Go ask them the question. Go find someone new. Ask these two questions. And they're all doing it together. They know what the questions are, but you don't volunteer it. You go ask for it.
Right.
When you go ask for this advice, it's advice versus feedback. Advice is something valuable. Feedback is you're taking a hammer to my toes.
Yeah. And I ain't going to listen. I'm going to do it reluctantly. And I'm not going to hear it because I understand what you're saying completely.
Yeah. I did some work with an IT team once, and I called this highfalutin analyst outside in the room, or outside from the room into the hallway, and so saying, can I give you some feedback? So we go into the hallway, we go find a bench, we're sitting down, I'm telling him some stuff, and about 5 minutes later he goes, whoa, is this all good stuff? Oh, what did you say? I wasn't listening. Because he was so waiting for the hammer to hit him.
Yeah.
And this is me saying, can I give you some feedback? It was all good feedback.
Good feedback.
But he was expecting a hammer, so he didn't hear anything I said.
That's wild. So here's a solution for you for the next time. You take your 3x5 card and you write on questions, hand it to him and say, here, ask me this question.
Exactly. And he'll be like, well, I don't want to ask these questions. Like, nope, this is how it works.
Yeah.
You got to ask me these questions.
Yeah. That's pretty wild. That's really good because you've got, wow, that is just amazing at how everyone gets to be part of the team, to be the team, works together and more on a fluid basis because they're all asking not on what they're doing wrong, but how they can be better at what they're already doing.
Exactly. Because everyone's waking up thinking, I want to do good today.
Yeah.
I worked with a team once, and this one guy was totally obstinate, totally argumentative, totally in the way of everything we're trying to do. And so I wait like a month. I mean, I realize that he's a core problem on this team. I wait to get to know him, and we're out at lunch. Oh, it's down in Houston, some little Greek Euro place. Delicious lunch. I love that place. But I finally say, hey, in this meeting, so I give a context.
Right.
You acted this way, and I describe what he did. So I'm really specific with the behaviors. And then I say, but it kind of got in the way of the team, and the attitude kind of shifted the meeting. Why did you do that? Because I didn't know. I didn't know. And he goes, Jeffrey, when I joined this team, I thought that we made a couple decisions that were going to hurt the whole project. And I'm just trying to save us. This guy, who everyone else had labeled the biggest jerk on the project, is when he wakes in the morning, he's like, I'm going to put on my armor, and I'm going to be like a holy knight fighting for a righteous cause. Wow. I'm going to save us from this doom by getting in the way. I mean, his intentions were great. The result was terrible. He didn't see it. We have to help people see, what's going on. Because in his mind, he was trying to save us all.
Amazing. And how what we think we're doing can actually have a negative effect by not interacting properly with everyone else.
Well, and he didn't know how bad his interactions were.
Right.
From his side of the story, he was just here to help us.
Yeah. He was the hero, the knight in shining armor, coming to save the day.
He really thought he was. And we all thought that he was like the dude in the black armor, and from the story come to life, trying to kill us all. But from his perspective, he was the good guy.
Wow. That's a very interesting thought on that. That's wild. So did you have fun? Did he get it?
He did get it. Here's the thing. Some of these things you don't change in one conversation.
Oh, yeah, no.
I mean, he spent 8 months acting this way. He's not going to change tomorrow because I said something at lunch. But at least we could start a conversation about how he's acting and how it impacts us. Mm-hmm. And I could help him bring up this original decision, which happened before I even got on the team, and say, hey, let's revisit this. Let's talk about what's working, what's not working, how we could decide something else. Is it too late? So we were able to help each other this way. And it made a difference.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, because I know, it takes forever to create a habit or a behavior. It's not going to change overnight. So there again, it needs to be a constant willingness. And I think that's the key, is the willingness, isn't it?
It really is. But here's the amazing part, is that most people are willing.
I think I would agree.
There's some limited studies on this, as near as I can tell, in that about 70% of the population is really motivated by knowing what we're doing, knowing how it works together, and making sure that, trying to get along, etc. Now that leaves 30% who aren't motivated by that. Those people are usually motivated by something outside of work, and you can't change them.
Right.
A lot of those people actually go into sales. They're motivated by the dollar. And as long as they've got clear goals, I don't care about a team. I don't care about this. I'm just going to go sell. And that's fine. You need to know that.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, it takes all kinds, so it has to.
It really does. Well, and here's the thing. If you want people who don't care about that stuff, figure out how to hire for it. I got a good friend named Charles, and he can't stand answering meeting and clarity questions. It drives him crazy. He'd rather you take a rusty knife that's very dull and start to saw off his head.
Really?
He just can't stand that stuff. So what he does is he has structured his whole organization. So he's still got structure, and he's structured it on like a piece count business. And he's figured out that the average rate is this, you can make a decent living. And he hires people who don't care about meeting, who don't care about clarity, but want to work hard and get extra money. So he actually pays them by piece. Okay. And he says, if you work hard, you can make 1.5 times the average.
Right.
And that way he makes sure he only hires people who don't care about the stuff he hates. So he's trying to hire the 30%. That's how he structures his business for him.
But there again, he knows, and he's working it.
He's working it. He's using the way people are. So I focus on the people who hire the 70% for the most part.
Right.
Because Charles doesn't need my help, because he doesn't want a team. He wants a bunch of individuals just doing a tiny little task. That's his business. We're friends. We don't do business. Most organizations I know think the world is changing. I've got big jobs. I want people to work together. I have all the skills I want, but they're spread out among everyone, and I need to get some cross-training involved. I need everyone to be better. I need more teaming.
Right. Yeah.
Those are the folks I love to work with, and I love to share this information with.
Yeah, I mean, I see it more and more relevant in the marketplace, and I see, the younger generation. The older generation is great. I mean, I'm there, so we're great. So, and we look at things differently. But the younger generation looks at things much differently than we ever did. They, I think they want meaning. They want the clarity. They want to know what's available to them, but not only that, but what's expected of them, and they have a willingness to grow.
I agree completely. And one of the things you said, I want to pivot off one of the words you said. They want to know what the expectations are.
Right.
That's so key. We need to set expectations, because then when you're the supervisor or when you're a boss, you can call someone in and say, we have a regular feedback system, but that feedback system, I know we don't use that word. We talk about what should
right.
we build upon, and how should we refocus, but they're based on our expectations. And I want to talk to you, Juan, or I want to talk to you, James, or I want to talk to you, Brenda, about this expectation that you said you were going to meet, but you haven't been doing the last
right.
week or two. How come? How can I get you to meet that? What's in the way? And if nothing's in the way, what's going to happen if you don't meet it?
Right.
Setting expectations is so key.
Yeah.
We were talking before we started about being the leader that you would want to follow.
I know.
And
I know.
that a good leader sets expectations. This is what excellence looks like. And then when you hit it, you say, you hit it. You did excellence. Thank you. Continue on. I don't have to spend 20 minutes telling everything you did, but don't we all sometimes want a pat on the back? Don't we all sometimes want some acknowledgement for our hard work?
Sure.
A good leader gives you some of that.
For sure. Yeah, because it's part of it's part of everything. Yeah, this has really been some awesome stuff. It's been fun.
Well, you are an awesome interviewer. Outstanding question.
Thanks. Yeah, we're getting really close to the end of our time together. But is there anything in the back of your mind that you've been wanting to get out there, or I'll leave it at that.
Yeah. Here's what I want to summarize this kind of as. If you wait for some annual performance review, you've lost 50 to 100 opportunities to get better. Don't wait for some conversation once a year. Have a conversation once or twice a week. Small improvements, easy. Big annual changes, they're like a New Year's resolution. They're going to be gone in somewhere between 3 hours and 3 weeks.
Yeah, I've always thought annual reviews were kind of blasé.
They lead to meh.
Yeah, they do, because it's like, all right, and I know that there's a lot of companies, and I know I own another company that their whole, and they do, annual reviews, and it's a big deal if they take them out to lunch, and I'm going, yeah, then they go through all the good stuff and all the great stuff and how much they've grown and all this other stuff. And then there's the expectations, and, I'm wondering I've always wondered, is there a better way to do that so that it's more I can't think of the word. I just can't think of the word right off the top of my head.
But here's the thing. What we talked about is that better way.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Have your employees say, hey, here's a card. Ask me these 2 questions.
Yeah.
And you meet with them every 2 weeks.
That's awesome. Yeah.
You're giving feedback all the time on what you did right and how you could get better. They'll get better on a regular basis. And if not, they're going to say, I don't want to get better. And you say, well, then why are you here?
Right. Yeah. Yep. Thanks for leaving us on your own court.
Exactly. Because that's our expectation.
You're right.
That we're going to constantly get better.
Awesome. That's so great. Jeffrey, how can our listeners connect with you?
Well, the easiest way is to go to my website. I'm at Great Teams Ltd, which stands for limited. So GREATTEAMS Ltd.com. And I've got a way to sign up for information there. I send out something like every couple of years. I do not barrage people with a lot of emails. If people do have a question, my email is there and they can find me on that. And you can find links to Twitter or LinkedIn or Facebook or blah, 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 whatever your social media choice is. I got a bunch of those. But go to the website, and I actually have a couple tools that I would send out if someone asked, like activities for you to get to know your teammates.
Awesome.
Activities to help you define what your meaning is. I got a bunch of those in my back pocket. I haven't even put them online. They're just like sitting in my files, but I'll share them. Anyone who wants them, I'll send them your way. Anything to help you out.
Awesome. Excellent. I'm gonna ask for those so I can use them. Dude, I want to be better. I want to be better in everything that I do. So listen, I really appreciate you spending time with us, sharing your expertise. This has been a lot of fun, and I know that you're the fun guy, and I try to make these as much because I really enjoy this. So thank you so much.
You are so welcome. I hope that people realize that those contractors out there, that their secret weapon, this podcast, is a great tool. You know, I've listened to a bunch of your episodes, and I've learned things to help me in my business. So I want to say thank you as one of your audience members for sharing and continuing to give to the community.
Thank you.
Hey, everyone. Thank you so much for listening to today's show and investing your time with us today. Being a contractor myself, I know all too well how precious time is when you're running a contracting business. And I want you to know that I take your commitment to grow your business very seriously. And as I said, it is the reason I created the Contractor's Secret Weapon Show. My goal is to share daily not only what works, but also share what didn't, so you can avoid some of the painful and costly mistakes that I've made. In addition to this show, my team and I offer various training and coaching programs, including a limited number of private coaching opportunities where you can work with me personally to help you grow your business. I encourage you to visit our website at contractorsecretweapon.com, where you'll find hundreds of additional shows, some free information on you can build your business, and you'll find my contact information if you want to explore working with me privately. So that's a wrap for this edition of the Contractor's Secret Weapon Podcast. Be sure to stop back at this time tomorrow for another great episode, or you can go to iTunes or Stitcher and sign up and have it downloaded and delivered to your phone each time it becomes available.
Now it's time to implement what you've learned and grow your contracting business. Great ideas are nice, but results only happen through action and implementation. So learn more about Dave Negri and how he can help you take your business to the next level, get some additional free business building information, and listen to additional shows. Visit contractorssecretweapon.com. That's contractorssecretweapon.com. And remember, the more you listen, the more you'll have an unfair advantage over your competition. And who doesn't want that? See you next time.